Hey everyone, welcome back to Switch Top. 2026 is bringing some absolute heavy hitters to the Nintendo Switch and Switch 2, and today we're focusing on the top 15 biggest games you need to know about. These aren't just any releases, these are the major titles that could dominate your gaming time this year. Let's get right into it. Orbitals is shaping up to be one of the standout Nintendo Switch games coming in 2026, offering a co-op-focused sci-fi adventure wrapped in a strong anime-inspired identity. Set in a colorful, retro-futuristic galaxy, the game follows two young space explorers, Maki and Omura, whose space station becomes trapped within a mysterious cosmic phenomenon. The story leans heavily into themes of teamwork, survival, and trust, with narrative moments delivered through hand-drawn anime-style cinematics and fully voiced dialogue. Gameplay is built entirely around cooperation, whether played locally or online, asking two players to constantly coordinate actions rather than progressing independently. Exploration blends light platforming, puzzle-solving, and action-driven encounters, including piloting small spacecraft and dealing with environmental hazards that require precise timing between both characters. Each protagonist brings unique abilities that complement the other, making communication and synergy essential to overcoming challenges. Visually, Orbitals stands out with vibrant colors, expressive character animation, and cinematic presentation that reinforces its story-first approach. Mouse, PI for Hire is shaping up to be one of the most visually distinctive Nintendo Switch games, arriving on March 19th, 2026, blending classic shooter mechanics with a bold, noir identity. The game is set in the crime-ridden city of Mouseburg and places players in the role of Jack Pepper, a hard-boiled private investigator pulled into a case that starts small but quickly unravels into a dark web of corruption, violence, and betrayal. The story unfolds through investigation, dialogue, and environmental storytelling, capturing the tone of classic detective fiction while maintaining a steady forward momentum. Gameplay is built around fast, fluid, first-person shooting across semi-open city districts, encouraging constant movement, weapon switching, and creative use of gadgets. Players gain access to a varied arsenal, along with tools like grappling hooks and explosive items that open up combat and traversal options. Between action-heavy encounters, the game slows down with clue gathering, side activities, and upgrades that allow players to tailor Jack Pepper's abilities to their preferred playstyle. Visually, the hand-drawn black-and-white rubber hose animation style gives the game a striking personality, making every firefight and cutscene feel like a living 1930s cartoon. Pragmata is positioned as one of the most ambitious Nintendo Switch games coming in 2026, with a confirmed release date set for April 24th, 2026. Developed by Capcom, the game delivers a story-driven sci-fi action-adventure set on a desolate lunar research station overtaken by hostile artificial intelligence. Players follow Hugh, a stranded spacefarer, and Diana, a mysterious android child, as they struggle to survive and uncover the truth behind the facility's collapse while searching for a way back to Earth. The narrative focuses on isolation, trust, and the evolving bond between the two characters, conveyed through cinematic storytelling and atmospheric exploration. Gameplay is presented from a third-person perspective and blends fast-paced shooting with tactical decision-making. Hugh handles direct combat using firearms, evasive movement, and a jetpack for vertical traversal, while Diana supports him by hacking enemy systems in real time, breaking defenses and exposing weak points. This dual-character system creates a unique rhythm where action and strategy constantly overlap, pushing players to think on the fly during intense encounters. Exploration plays a key role, with environmental storytelling, puzzles, and a strong sense of tension reinforcing the game's bleak sci-fi tone. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is set to be one of the biggest Nintendo Switch releases of 2026, launching on January 22nd, 2026, and bringing the first chapter of the legendary Remake saga to Nintendo players in its most complete form. This enhanced edition retells the opening arc of Final Fantasy VII, focusing on Cloud Strife, a former soldier turned mercenary, as he becomes entangled with the resistance group Avalanche in their fight against the Shinra Electric Power Company and its exploitation of the planet. The story balances large-scale sci-fi themes with deeply personal character moments, expanding Midgar into a dense, story-rich setting filled with political tension and emotional weight. Gameplay blends real-time action with strategic RPG elements, allowing players to freely move, attack, and dodge while pausing to issue tactical commands, abilities, and magic through the ATB system. Character progression, materia customization, and party synergy play a major role in shaping combat flow and playstyle. Intergrade also includes Episode Intermission, a standalone story chapter starring Yuffie Kisaragi, which adds new gameplay mechanics and narrative perspective to the overall experience.
This planet is my birthright.
I don't believe it. We played right into Shinra's hands.
The future isn't set in stone.
The world won't end today, but you will.
Scott Pilgrim EX is shaping up to be one of the most exciting Nintendo Switch games arriving in early 2026, expanding the Scott Pilgrim universe with a brand new story and refined gameplay built for both solo and co-op play. Set in a chaotic, pixel art version of Toronto in 2020, the story kicks off when Scott Pilgrim's bandmates are kidnapped and their instruments stolen, plunging the city into disorder as rival factions like vegans, robots, and demons fight for control. The narrative is written with the series' trademark humor and style, offering a fresh take that stands on its own while respecting the tone fans expect. Gameplay evolves the classic side-scrolling beat-em-up formula into a more exploration-focused 2D action-adventure, featuring interconnected areas, optional objectives, and secrets to uncover. Combat is fast, combo-driven, and deliberately over-the-top, encouraging players to experiment with melee attacks, quirky weapons, and environmental interactions. Players can choose from 7 playable characters, each with distinct moves and combat traits, and progression is handled through collectible badges that enhance stats and unlock bonuses. Professor Layton and the New World of Steam marks the long-awaited return of the Professor Layton series and is set to launch on Nintendo Switch in 2026, with no exact day announced yet. The story takes place 1 year after the events of Professor Layton and the Unwound Future, and reunites Professor Herschel Layton with his apprentice Luke Triton as they travel to Steam Bison, a bustling American city powered by advanced steam technology. What initially appears to be a routine investigation quickly evolves into a larger mystery tied to the city's rapid technological progress, strange inventions, and hidden motives beneath its industrial charm. Gameplay stays true to the series' identity, focusing on careful exploration, story-driven progression, and a large collection of logic puzzles that challenge observation, reasoning, and lateral thinking. Players move through detailed, hand-painted environments, interact with eccentric characters, uncover clues, and solve puzzles naturally woven into the narrative flow rather than separated from it. The puzzles are designed to feel accessible yet rewarding, gradually increasing in complexity as the mystery deepens. The steampunk-inspired setting gives the game a fresh tone while preserving the calm, thoughtful pacing the franchise is known for. Resident Evil Requiem is positioned as one of the biggest Nintendo Switch games of 2026, launching on February 27, 2026, and delivering a full-scale survival horror experience rooted in the series' darkest legacy. Set decades after the destruction of Raccoon City, the story follows FBI analyst Grace Ashcroft as she returns to the city's abandoned ruins to investigate a string of mysterious deaths tied to her mother's past and the original outbreak. The narrative gradually uncovers long-buried secrets while reconnecting with familiar elements of the franchise, including the involvement of Leon S. Kennedy, whose presence introduces a contrast in tone and gameplay. Grace's sections emphasize vulnerability, tension, and psychological horror, while Leon's segments lean more toward controlled, action-driven survival without abandoning the series' trademark suspense. Gameplay blends classic Resident Evil mechanics, such as limited resources, careful inventory management, environmental puzzles, and methodical exploration, all reinforced by dense atmosphere and oppressive level design. Players can switch between first-person and third-person perspectives, allowing for both immersive horror and tactical awareness during combat and exploration.
Think I want a second opinion.
Dispatch is set to be one of the standout Nintendo Switch releases of 2026, launching on January 28, 2026, and offering a fresh take on superhero stories through a narrative-driven strategy experience. Developed by Ad Hoc Studio, the game is set in modern-day Los Angeles and centers on Robert Robertson, formerly the superhero Mecha Man, who loses his powers and is reassigned to manage the superhero dispatch network. Instead of fighting crime directly, players oversee a team of reformed villains turned heroes, assigning them to emergencies across the city while balancing their unique abilities, personalities, and limitations. Gameplay revolves around strategic decision-making, where choosing the right hero for each crisis affects mission outcomes, public safety, and character relationships. These management elements are tightly woven into branching dialogue choices that shape the story, tone, and team dynamics throughout the season. The experience is structured episodically, with the complete season available at launch, and mixes strategy segments with cinematic storytelling, animated sequences, and light interactive moments that keep the pacing varied. Humor plays a central role, but it's balanced with character-focused drama and consequences that give weight to player decisions.
Too easy.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
What are you doing in Visigal? Is that your car?
I don't have a car.
That's gonna be a weird insurance claim.
The way things are going, I'd cut the whole damn team.
Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is set to be one of the biggest Nintendo Switch RPG releases of 2026, officially launching on February 5th, 2026, and offering a fully modernized take on one of the series' most ambitious entries. Reimagined from the ground up, the game revisits the story of a quiet world believed to be made up of only a single island, until a group of childhood friends uncovers the mysterious Shrine of Mysteries and learns that countless lands have vanished from history. The narrative unfolds across different eras, sending players through time to restore lost regions, resolve the struggles of forgotten civilizations, and gradually piece together the truth behind a powerful force erasing the world. Gameplay remains firmly rooted in classic turn-based combat, enhanced with modern refinements such as faster battle pacing, optional automation, and smoother transitions between exploration and encounters. Character progression is deepened through an expanded vocation system that allows flexible class combinations, encouraging experimentation and party synergy without overwhelming complexity. Exploration plays a major role, with a vast world made up of distinct islands, dungeons, and side stories that reward curiosity and patience.
This is the stuff! You and me battling side by side again! Flame Splitter! There's no time to waste. Here's to one.
WitchBrook is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated Nintendo Switch games arriving in 2026, with the release window confirmed for that year, but no exact date announced yet. Set in the charming seaside city of Mossport, the game places players in the role of a new student at WitchBrook College, where everyday life blends naturally with magic. The story is largely player-driven, focusing on personal growth, community, and discovery rather than a fixed main quest, allowing you to shape your own journey as a young witch in training. Gameplay combines life simulation and RPG systems, encouraging players to attend classes, learn spells, brew potions, gather ingredients, and gradually develop magical skills over time. Daily routines play an important role, with seasonal events, changing schedules, and a town that feels alive through its cast of unique NPCs, each with their own habits and personalities. Social interaction is a major pillar, letting players form friendships, build relationships, and even pursue romance, all of which influence how the world responds to you. Exploration, light customization, and cozy activities like gardening and crafting add to the relaxed pacing, while optional multiplayer for up to 4 players allows friends to share the experience together. Reanimal is set to be one of the most striking Nintendo Switch releases of 2026, officially launching on February 13th, 2026, and delivering a dark, atmospheric survival horror experience built around tension, cooperation, and storytelling. Developed by Tarsier Studios, the game follows a brother and sister who are drawn back to a corrupted version of their homeland after their friends mysteriously disappear. The story unfolds across a haunting island archipelago, where familiar places are twisted into nightmarish environments, filled with unsettling creatures and fragmented memories, gradually revealing the emotional core of the siblings' journey. Gameplay blends cinematic platforming, stealth, and exploration, placing emphasis on survival rather than combat, with players relying on timing, environmental awareness, and puzzle solving to progress. Cooperation plays a central role, as challenges are designed around the duo working together, whether controlled by 2 players in local or online co-op, or by an AI companion in single player. Exploration shifts between on-foot traversal and boat travel, adding variety while reinforcing the feeling of isolation and danger. Environmental puzzles and carefully paced encounters encourage patience and observation, keeping tension high throughout. Ys Memoire, Revelations in Celceta is set to be one of the notable Nintendo Switch JRPG releases of 2026, launching in early 2026 with a release window currently listed between February 17th and March 31st, 2026, depending on region. This remastered edition revisits Ys, Memories of Celceta, with modern refinements while preserving its fast-paced identity. The story follows Adol Kristin, who awakens in the dangerous land of Celceta with his memories erased, pushing him to explore the vast wilderness and uncover both his past and the truth behind the region's secrets. Narrative progression is closely tied to exploration, with discoveries, character encounters, and mapped areas gradually restoring Adol's lost memories and revealing political tension and hidden threats. Gameplay is built around real-time, party-based action combat, allowing players to switch between characters on the fly, chain attacks, and exploit enemy weaknesses through coordinated skills. Combat rewards aggression and smart positioning rather than passive play, keeping battles quick and fluid. Exploration plays a major role, supported by a detailed mapping system that encourages thorough investigation of forests, ruins, and hidden paths. The Legend of Heroes: Trails Beyond the Horizon is shaping up to be one of the biggest Nintendo Switch RPG releases of 2026, officially launching on January 15th, 2026, and continuing the long-running Trails saga with a story that pushes the world of Zemuria toward a turning point. Serving as a direct continuation of the Calvard arc, the narrative brings together multiple protagonists, including Van Arkride, Reen Schwarzer, and Kevin Graham, as political tensions rise and humanity prepares for its first step into space. The story unfolds across intersecting character paths, gradually revealing hidden agendas, powerful organizations, and secrets that threaten the future of the continent. Gameplay builds on the series' signature hybrid combat system, blending fast-paced real-time field battles with deeper, turn-based command battles that emphasize positioning, timing, and party synergy. New systems expand combat depth, allowing players to trigger powerful states, manipulate enemy movement, and chain abilities for greater tactical control without sacrificing pacing. Party customization remains a core pillar, letting players fine-tune abilities, equipment, and roles to match their preferred strategy. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is positioned as one of the biggest Nintendo Switch titles of 2026, with its release window confirmed for 2026 and an exact date yet to be announced. As a new mainline entry in the long-running tactical RPG series, the game introduces a fresh narrative centered on the Heroic Games, a grand, high-stakes tournament overseen by the mysterious Divine Sovereign, who promises to grant the deepest wishes of those who claim victory. Warriors from across the realm are drawn into this conflict, each carrying personal ambitions and hidden motives, giving the story a strong focus on fate, choice, and consequence. Gameplay builds on the series' classic grid-based, turn-based combat, emphasizing positioning, terrain control, unit synergy, and careful planning over raw power. Familiar systems such as the weapon triangle, combat arts, and character growth return, while new mechanics expand tactical depth, including powerful abilities that trade health for decisive effects, and new unit classes designed around mobility and battlefield control. Relationship building and character bonds once again influence combat performance and story outcomes, reinforcing the emotional weight of every decision.
It is imperative that I face it again. I must cull it with this blade.
My full strength.
There's a man I hate so much that simply killing him will not satisfy me.
Deus Ex Remastered was announced as one of the major Nintendo Switch games targeting 2026, originally scheduled to launch on February 5th, 2026, before being delayed to an unannounced date following community feedback. This remastered edition revisits the influential cyberpunk RPG set in the year 2052, placing players in the role of J.C. Denton, a nano-augmented agent navigating a world destabilized by pandemics, corporate power, political corruption, and secret organizations operating behind the scenes. The story is built around player choice, gradually revealing global conspiracies while constantly challenging moral alignment, personal loyalty, and the idea of control versus freedom. Gameplay remains rooted in the immersive sim design that defined the original, blending first-person shooting, stealth, hacking, exploration, and role-playing systems into open-ended missions that can be approached in multiple ways. Players are encouraged to experiment with different playstyles, whether relying on direct combat, sneaking through environments, manipulating security systems, or using dialogue and investigation to bypass obstacles. Character progression is driven by augmentations that enhance physical abilities, stealth, combat efficiency, or technological interaction, allowing deep customization. Those are the top 15 big Nintendo Switch games coming in 2026. From immersive sims to action RPGs and everything in between, these games represent some serious depth and quality coming to the platform. Which one are you most hyped for? Let me know in the comments. I'm personally really excited to see how Deus Ex runs on Switch. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to Switch Top for more Nintendo Switch coverage throughout 2026. I'll definitely be diving deeper into these games as we get closer to their release dates. Until next time.